Hello, artists. Today we're going to be making a picture inspired by the biomes of the world. I'm going to show you some examples, and then I'm going to show you how I would like for you to compose your picture. Today, you're going to need your ruler, your pencil, an eraser, a skinny marker, and your colored pencils. And I brought out markers, but you need your colored pencils, not your markers. So I'm going to show you the examples that I created, and there's something about them that are all the same. First of all, the biomes that go across the world are similar, but they're different in different places. And since I live in North America, the biomes that I am showing are the animals and the plants in North America, since that's where I live. For your science project, you needed to choose 3 animals and 3 plants for each of your biomes. And so I would like for you to use those in your project today. And they may not be the animals that I've chosen. That's perfectly fine. You may have chosen a biome that's tundra from someplace in Europe. Or in Russia, and you would have different animals in there than mine. So here's my tundra. And as you can see, it's very snowy. There's not a lot of plants. But what I did was I drew my 3 animals. And I also wrote the names of the animals and the plants around the border of my picture. I would like for you to do that today too. And as you can see, my picture is divided into 4 different sections. Here's the foreground with my snowy owl and my bearberry plant. The middle ground is where my harbor seal is, and also my caribou moss. And then the background, which has my polar bear, and it has some lichen on the rocks. And then in the back, I have the mountain. So you're going to divide your picture up into 4 sections as well. So here's my tundra picture. Here's my taiga, which also can be very cold, but the plants are a little bit different and they're more trees. So in my taiga picture, I have the brown bear, I have fireweed, which will show up in another part of the country. I have sundew plants, I have a blue spotted salamander, an otter, and I have pine trees. This is my foreground with my spotted salamander. This is my middle ground with my bear and my otter. And here's my background with my mountains and my sunset. Here's my deciduous forest. We find a lot of this on the east coast of the United States, but also some out in the west. I have a beaver. I have a brown bear, and I also have mice. Those are my 3 animals. I have aspen trees, which are yellow. I have pussy willow, which are here next to the water. I have oak trees, which are the red. So this would be a fall picture. Those are deciduous trees, and so they lose their leaves in the fall and winter. So in the fall, they turn all sorts of beautiful colors. So the mice and the pussy willows are in the foreground. The beaver and the black bear are in the middle ground, and the trees and the mountains and some birds up here are in my background. My next one is the rainforest. And for those of us who live in California, we have a temperate rainforest where the redwoods grow. So my animals in the rainforest are a mountain lion, elk, and a raccoon. And I put some little fish in the stream here too. And then I have my redwood trees. And here's my fireweed again. It grows also in the temperate rainforest and also some skunk cabbage. So my fireweed and my fish and my raccoon are in the foreground in the front. My mountain lion and my elk are in the middle ground, and in the background, I have my mountains and also my forest. My next one are the grasslands. And the grasslands are in a lot of the United States, middle part of the country. So there's not a lot of trees. It's mostly lots of grass. There are some flowers as well. The trees mostly grow wherever there's water, but it's a lot of grass. It's the grasslands. And so I have a bison, I have a garter snake, and a prairie dog as my three animals, but I threw in a cute little frog over here. And I have the purple cone flower and sunflowers and aspen trees once more, which are yellow because it's fall. Lots of grass. I need the grass is the texture in my picture. The prairie dog and the garter snake are in the foreground. My pond and my bison are in the middle ground. And then the sky and the mountains are in the background. Here's the desert. This is like the Southwest here in the United States in Arizona, where there's a lot of beautiful red earth. So my animals are a coyote, a roadrunner, and a scorpion. My plants are a cactus, Saguaro cactus, prickly pears, which in the spring have pretty pink flowers, and tumbleweeds. So in the foreground, I have my scorpion and some prickly pears and tumbleweeds. In the middle ground, I have the coyote and the roadrunner. And in the background, I have the mountains and some of the cactus, and of course, my sky. So I am going to show you how to compose your picture in the four sections. I'm not going to color this picture in, but I want to show you how you can do it so that you can create your picture in four sections. Remember, the things that are in the foreground, unless they're very small already, like a scorpion, are generally the biggest things because they're closest to you. The middle ground, they're going to be kind of far away and smaller than in real life. And in the background, they're definitely going to be smaller. So you're going to need a white, plain piece of white paper, and you're going to take your ruler. And the first thing you need to do is make a frame for your picture. So you want to put the ruler at the top of your paper. You can also do this project in your sketchbook. So you want to make a light line all the way around for your frame. Now, because pencil is kind of hard to see in video, I'm going to do the rest of this in marker. And I'm going to show you how I start to draw my objects, but I don't draw them perfectly right away. I use lots of different lines to create them. So here I have my frame. And now what I want to do is create my four sections in my picture. Now, this time around, I'm going to make tropical rainforest, specifically the tropical rainforest in Costa Rica, one of my favorite places to visit. So I am going to have a sloth and a jaguar, and I'm also going to have a poison dart frog as my three animals. And I'm going to put my poison dart frog right here at the front of my picture. So I want to create a space for that frog that's all their own. The next thing I'm going to do is make my sloth, and I want my sloth to be hanging out of a tree. So I'm going to make another section that goes right across here. So basically, you're just going to draw three lines. If you draw the three lines with gentle curves, you're going to have four sections: one, two, three, and four. All right. So I would be drawing this with pencil, but because it's hard to see on video, I'm drawing it with marker. So when I go over my lines, I won't be able to erase like you will. So the other thing I want to think about is I know my frog's going to go here, and I want my sloth to be hanging out of a tree. So that means I have to create a tree branch for that to happen. And the trees that I'm going to choose are the almondro or the almond tree, the bamboo palm, and a mango tree. And I think my sloth would love to be hanging in a mango tree. I don't know if sloths eat mangoes, but maybe they do. I do, and I like them. So I'm going to draw a branch coming out for my mango tree. And I am actually going to, here's the trunk of the mango tree right here. And then I'll maybe draw a couple of more branches. Now, I would fill this in with leaves and colored pencils, but right now I'm just going to leave it. I know that that's where my sloth is going to hang right there. Now, my frog's going to be here. My sloth is going to be here. I think I'm going to have my jaguar coming out from behind an almond tree. And the almond trees are very interesting. They have almost like a mushroom shape on top. But once again, the top of my almond tree is coming very, very close to the frame. So you're not going to see the top of it, but here it is. And this is where my jaguar is going to be. In the meantime, there's lots and lots of other things that I can put in my picture because this is the rainforest. And rainforest tends to have a lot of water. So I think I'm going to make a waterfall right here and let this be kind of a pond or a stream of water. So I'm going to make that a reminder. Here's my little waterfall. I might make some rocks right here that it's flying off of. I'll come back and make that look better, but right now that's how I'm going to start. So here's my waterfall. Here's where my sloth is going to be. Here is where my jaguar is going to be. And here's where my frog is going to be. So now I'm going to start drawing my creatures. And I'm not going to worry about making them perfect right off the bat. Here's my frog. And notice that I'm not drawing perfect lines at all. And I'm doing that because later on I'll come back and I'll fix it with my pencil. But right now, I can just draw sketchy lines to get the general idea of how my frog is going to be. So he's there, and I'll probably put my frog on a really large leaf. They're very small, but they are very poisonous, so you don't want to touch them. Okay, here's where my frog's going to be. I will come back and make these lines prettier and then erase the lines that I don't want later, of course, with a pencil. Here's my sloth. I'm going to have my sloth hanging from the tree. Sloths are so cute. And I'm going to make his little head right here. Here's his toes coming over the branch. And then I'm going to make this leg. And then I'm going to make this leg and his tummy. And of course, later on, I'll come back and make that better. But this gives me some idea of how I'm going to make my sloth hanging. And sloths have fur, so I might add some texture to that. All right. And then over here, I'm going to have my jaguar hiding, coming out from behind the tree. And I'm going to make some of this bamboo over here too, so that my jaguar is mysteriously hiding behind the bamboo and the almond tree. And so it's going to be the smallest because it's in the background. And so I'm going to make my jaguar poking his head outside around the corner. All right, so you're not going to see the whole body, you're just going to see part of the jaguar. So here's how I composed my picture. I'm going to come back and I'm going to make more plants. This is a rainforest, and rainforests have tons of plants. So I might make some of this bamboo palms that come up, and it's dense. So I'm going to have a lot of green in my picture when I go to color it. Here are some leaves on my mango tree. I'm going to have lots of greenery here. Mango trees also have mangoes coming down. Here's some mangoes. Here's some leaves. Here's my happy sloth hanging down, looking for some really yummy insects to eat. Here's my tree. Here's my waterfall. And I'll probably put some smaller plants. They don't have to look like anything in particular, but a rainforest is extremely dense in plants, especially a tropical rainforest. Lots of plants around. And I'll use probably all of the different greens in my pencils in order to create this picture. More plants here. And they don't have to be super fancy because when you go to color them, you can make them look interesting with color. Okay, so this is how you can compose your picture. This is just the beginning. Once I get all the lines that I like, I would erase some of these lines. For instance, I wouldn't want a line going through my jaguar and the trees and the sloth. So I would erase some of that, but I would leave this line because this line is the background. And back here, since this is the rainforest, I can have some blue sky back here, maybe make a sunset. You can have any color kind of sky you want back here. All right, this would be water. Here's my frog. I'll need to color that in. There'll be lots of green in this picture because it is the rainforest. And I want to write the word rainforest up here. And then I'm going to write the names of my animals all the way around the outside of the frame. I look forward to seeing your finished biome pictures. So remember, you're going to sketch it in with pencil. You can go over it with your skinny marker if you want to. And then you need to color the entire thing in with your colored pencil. So there's not, especially in desert and the grasslands, there's not a lot of white in these pictures. It's very, very colorful. It's not until you get to the taiga and the tundra that you're going to see a lot of white space on your picture because there's a lot of snow there. All right, that's it for today, artists. I look forward to seeing your biome creations.